All right, welcome to This Week in Wrestling, your November 2nd, 2018 episode. Already, it's November. The year is going by fast. 2019 will be fast upon us. So, Crown Jewel finished today. I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to watch the beginning. How's everybody doing? Trevor Fries, I saw your tag. Trevor was on the wall today. He was covering Crown Jewel. A lot of mixed reactions. I just finished watching it. I watched most of it. Again, the controversy on top of controversy, on top of more controversy. First, the first controversy, of course, the return of the Huckster brother. I mean, listen, it's fun to see the Huckster brother whenever he comes around. But listen, it's 2018. At this point, he still looks pretty decent for his age. There's no chance ever of him returning to the ring due to his back surgeries, and he's old. He's over 60 years old now. He's in bad shape. It's good to pop him out once in a blue moon. Saudi Arabia, he got a good pop. I don't know if he'd probably get the same pop if he was in the United States. I guess for all those tweets you heard about with the New Day, they weren't too receptive of his apologies back a few months ago. Listen, it's a business. Sometimes you work with people you might not agree with or you might not like, but the show must go on. And again, the other controversy about this Crown Jewel, it caught on, and everybody got up in arms about the journalists from the Washington Post. How many people who actually were mad or upset about this even know the name of the journalist? Do you even know the name? He was a Saudi Arabian. And again, I mentioned many times, he is you don't know what happened. Okay, it's an international incident. It's a political incident. That would be like I don't know, Saudi Arabia or whoever. Pick a country in the world who had a show, a circus or a theatrical play, and they protested the United States because a cop shot an unarmed man or something like that. It doesn't involve the WWE, okay? It's not a political incident. The United States isn't at war with Saudi Arabia, or they're not imposing sanctions, or it's business as usual, okay? And I don't want to get political. You don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with that incident. So WWE has nothing to do with it. They're just putting on a show, okay? They're not making a political statement. Even if they did pull out, what would that accomplish? Nothing. It would actually make relations worse. They would renege on their contract, and it would just send a bad signal. It's not needed, okay? Now, whether you like the show or not, Crown Jewel, that's a different story. But it doesn't matter. Get used to these shows because in Saudi Arabia, because that's the way it's going to be, and they're probably going to get do more of these throughout the world as the tentacles of WWE grow longer and start to reach and get their foothold. You saw the reactions. That's one thing going into this show, pay-per-view, special, network special, whatever you want to call it. Things that I would look for, and I was very curious about the crowd. All right, the crowd, the Saudi Arabian crowd, who are very, 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 very knowledgeable. At least they know who's who, what's what. They know the chants, and they even after almost throughout the whole show, as I was giving them credit in my mind, I was saying this is a good crowd. Unlike the Pukaverse from the United States American crowd, the Pukaverse crowd. But then, of course, I think it was during the main event, DX against Brothers Destruction. This is awesome chant broke out, and I was like, oh, whatever. But the crowd is very knowledgeable. The crowd popped for the right things. They were very knowledgeable. They're very receptive to the old acts. And again, I said it many times. These Saudi Arabian shows are really and technically private, customized shows for the crown prince, the royal family, who he requested. That's why you saw, and you're going to see all these nostalgia acts because they want to see the old acts, and they paid for it. So again, if any wrestlers of any age, of any era, could come back and get paid and make a payday, I guess you have to be all for that. I always say, out of negatives, you take positives. So the real controversy from the get-go, before WWE and Saudi Arabia became business partners, was the fact that women are not treated equally in Saudi Arabia. Now, again, as they passed through the crowd, I did see women. Some were not covered. Some even had lipstick. You want to think, Frank? What do you? That's the way it is. A lot in their culture. I explained the other day. Saudi Arabia practices Wahhabism, which is the third sect of Islam. It's the strictest. They're not even allowed. They're only allowed to show their eyes. So if you see, I saw some women without their headdress, with lipstick. I don't know. Think of it, maybe a lot of kids, or a lot of the kids, younger children in the crowd. They were loving the music. They were loving the show. They were loving a piece of America, which WWE and Vince has always considered himself patriot, American, real American. That's why you see you see some of the characters. He lives through some of the characters like Hulk Hogan and John Cena, whoever. That's why you saw the real American with Hulk Hogan. So they consider, you got to consider it as a piece of America. WWE considers itself a piece of Americana, as Vince McMahon would say. So maybe it could bridge the cultures together. And of course, with the women, even though they can't perform on these Saudi Arabian shows, they wound up getting their own pay-per-view, which it's a sham. The PR and social justice warrior crap by WWE is a sham. Okay, but at least if you're a female wrestler, if you are pro female wrestling, whatever, at least now they got their own women's pay-per-view. Again, whether you liked it or not, whether you thought it was okay, whether you thought it was mega trash, whether you thought it was a really good wrestling show, Evolution, now chances are it wound off, it came off well. They pulled it off. The women pulled it off because WWE has so much talent. You have, I don't think a lot of people on this page or in general have a scope of how much talent the WWE has on their roster, not just on Raw and SmackDown, NXT. And other they have working agreements with Ring of Honor. I said it many times. WWE is an iron fist monopoly. Okay, and there's some people say, "Oh, it's not going to last forever." Listen, WWE goes out of business. Wrestling goes back 70 years. Okay, WWE is stacked. They have all the stars in the world. New and old. I don't understand why people keep tuning in. God forbid, they could people tune in like for 10 seconds, or maybe they're scrolling because they see Frank is live and they scroll. God forbid they could listen to 10 seconds of what I have to say. I could be preaching the secrets of the universe, showing you the secrets of the universe, and people wouldn't even care because this is what our culture is now. People go by a headline. People go by just impressions. Once they have an impression of something, I can't see it, or it's the best ever, and that's it, and nothing could change it. And just like The worldwide consensus now is I gotta hide that. I can't stand people popping in and out. It makes my blood boil. The worldwide consensus is positive on WWE. No matter what country you go, they're broadcast to 140 countries. That's why when I explained to James that people like himself, maybe even me, people like himself, the Mike Hans, the Gerald Barnes, the Alfax, are stuck in the United States WWE bubble. Okay? This came about when I explained that, yeah, people in the United States hate on TV. You see people who boo Roman Reigns, but then cheer at the end when he wins. Same thing with Cena. Not all of them, but half of them. That's why I call the fake fans the closet fans. And there's people outside of the United States who are big fans of Roman and Cena's, but because they're not as smart or hip to wrestling and the business like we are. And when I say this, if you're watching this, that's who I'm talking about. The hardcore audience, the smart audience, at least some are smart. Some think they're smart, but the 10% audience, that's the hardcore audience, the smart fans, the knowledgeable fans. Speaking of Roman, we all know he's gone. He's definitely gone until he is cleared or he gets better or he heals. But this is one thing. Another thing, you see in the title, the aftermath, WWE post-Roman era, and I said it the other day. It feels fresh. I mean, listen, just because Joe and I got diagnosed again with leukemia doesn't mean I'm not allowed to trash the character Roman Reigns, who has been boring, force-fed, unentertaining for the last 5 years. It felt fresh, the show. The show felt fresh. And you see, I put out a wrestling show breaks out. At least it was true for the first 3/4 of the show. We saw a good wrestling show. There was one-on-one competition, old school wrestling type tactics, cheating, the heels, the good guys, the underdogs. Finishers counted. You saw that for most of the show. Finishers actually counted. If you notice the fine details, the tone and the cadence of the announcers, the ring announcer, when talking about other wrestlers, they were really, really putting them over. All of them. Each and every one of them. When Cena or Reigns is on the show or is active on the roster, you don't get that. They say, "Oh, why are you always obsessed with Cena Reigns?" Because it's not obsessed. That's the problem. That's the problem why me and a lot of people have, is because when they have a Cena or a Reigns, it's a heavy presence, a heavy cloud over the product, over the show. It's because everybody knows, at least the smart fans though, that all roads are going to lead to those two. It's not even about just those two individuals. It's about the type of booking. I explained it as Scott Raven explained it. You have one guy on the top. That the one type of booking is you have one guy on the top, and then everybody else, you keep everybody else down to make that top guy look good, or you have one guy on top, maybe two, and everybody else, you lift up everybody else to make them that person or those two even more over. When Cena and Reigns are the top, the faces of the company, and they're not universally liked or loved or accepted, that's a big problem, a major problem. Especially when WWE breaks all rules and changes or tries to warp reality to pretend that Cena or Reigns are universally loved, like a Hulk Hogan is. Like a Stone Cold Austin is. Like The Rock and still is. So that's a big thing, and that's what I want to watch. See, a lot of people like Gerald Barnes. Oh, you can't be serious. Oh, I'm going to read some comments. The comments are the funniest, are the best. When he says, seriously, serious about what? Talking about that bullshit of a show, let that corny show just die. Corny to who? To you, or corny what? Because of perception? See, when James, that's what I talk about, the hardcore audience, the 10%, the extreme, 5% on this side, on the right of the curve, 5% on the left of the curve. Nothing is ever good. It's always anti-WWE, anti-Vince. Stop watching it. You have? Good. Stop talking about it. Be a man or person of your word. Stop talking about it. Be a person of your convictions. Now, am I a WWE cheerleader? Hell no. But covering this, I have to cover it, analyze it, and I will try to give an unbiased opinion as much as possible. This wasn't that bad of a show. I said a wrestling show broke out. It was good for the first 3 quarters. Of course, the big problem I had was with the World Cup finals match and the main event. But let's quickly go over. The kickoff show was Nakamura versus Rusev. Of course, Nakamura retained. Sure enough, now we'll probably see. That's another thing. If you look at the title, the Aftermath and Survivor Series angles, which this show had a few, and Survivor Series is going to be very good, I think, to share. I said it many weeks already, and it's WWE's fault because they want to burn the candles on so many ends with the stupid show in Australia, Evolution, Crown Jewel. There's so many shows, and the Roman Reigns agenda, that it ruins their product. But now they got forced. Roman Reigns, of course, he's not. Joe and I, whatever. He's not no longer part of WWE for the indefinitely. They had to scramble. Who they turned this guy heel, they turned that guy face. The Universal Championship was vacant. Mysterio defeated Orton. I predicted that. Why bring Mysterio? Make him lose in the first match. It's not like Orton needs Miz versus Jeff Hardy. The Miz won. These were all good matches. These were all tight, quick matches. Preliminary matches. You don't want these matches to go 20 minutes. Classics. Rollins defeated Lashley. I didn't think that. I thought maybe Lashley, they put Lashley over, but I knew WWE couldn't resist another Seth Rollins Ziggler match. We'll get to that. And we had Angle coming back. By the way, Lashley took Lashley replaced Cena, and they made sure to tell you that. And again, if it was Seth Rollins and Cena, would Cena have won this? Would Cena have beaten Rollins in that quarterfinals match? See, this is what I'm talking about. Anyway, Ziggler versus Kurt Angle. If you saw the promo and look for clues, just go back and for that promo with Ziggler against Angle, look for the clues. When Ziggler said he's the best in the world and everybody else is second best. Did you watch Drew McIntyre's expressions, facial expressions? He wasn't having it. Guess what? Sure enough, sooner or later, McIntyre will turn on Ziggler and he'll go solo, which it's needed. That's what it was intended for. This team up of Ziggler and McIntyre. It's to get them both over, and eventually to make McIntyre a legit main event player in WWE, which he is. I firmly believe he is. He's got the promo skills, improved promo skills, and in the ring, definitely, and he's definitely got the look. So Ziggler did go over on Angle. That was a good match. Angle in his promo was talking about like he was coming back. Now you'll probably see Angle in Kurt Angle in the Survivor Series. I know they're probably going. I just probably know they're going to do a Team Angle or Team Corbin. I thought they were going to do that. Maybe not now because Roman's not there. But look for them, Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin, to have some sort of Survivor Series team, maybe against SmackDown. The Bar defeated the New Day. Who cares? I'm tired of seeing the same match 1,000 times. In the semifinals, The Miz defeated Rey Mysterio. Good match. We've seen this match again many times. Mysterio, he's gonna come back. What? All right, I don't know what happened. This goddamn fucking computer. I went live on my regular page. So what I'll do is, after I finish recording this, I'll splice it up and then I'll just post the entire video onto the page. It's amazing. But anyway, as I was saying, The Miz advanced. We've seen that enough times. And the other semifinals, Ziggler and Rollins, you didn't know exactly. Now, see, they planted that in your mind with McIntyre's reactions, so you didn't know what was going to happen. But Ziggler did wind up managing to go over on Rollins. Another good match. It wasn't their worst match. Moving on to the WWE Championship, AJ Styles defeated Samoa Joe. Coming into this, I didn't think there was going to be any major title changes. Only because of the time difference and because I said fans aren't conditioned. The thing with this match is Samoa Joe. Now, they've been using Samoa Joe intentionally, unintentionally, coincidentally. He comes in for a big angle as the big monster heel. He gets really put over as his character is fit. I don't know if he stays off TV for quite a few weeks in the interim. Then he loses. And then he disappears again. They have to cash in on it with Joe. He needs a big win. He needs a championship win. He needs a reign, a title reign, or short or long, of terror. Listen, we've seen this match. We know Joe was a replacement for Daniel Bryan. It is what it was. We've seen this. If you're a big wrestling fan, you've seen this match for 10 years now, going back to TNA. Now, the vacant Universal Championship, Lesnar against Strowman. You see, Lesnar has slimmed down as he needs to get to at least 265 or under for UFC. He's off the juice. Still looks good. Braun came in. Obviously, Brock is the heel, and Braun is now the baby face. This is what I mean about when I say, you have to be careful about turning someone heel, and then how do you bring them back to being a face? Haven't you learned with the Big Show all those years? Wrestlers like Ric Flair are miracles, that they could become heels and go back to being a face and become a heel again. And it doesn't affect the characters. Most of the time, it affects the performers' characters. All right. Now we had Everybody was behind Braun. He was becoming the biggest baby face on Raw. But we can't have that because Roman is there, so they had to turn him heel. And for 3 weeks, a month, and now he's a face again. It's that Big Show-itis. You don't want that. But so I said I didn't know going into this. I said I didn't think there was going to be a clear-cut winner. I said maybe they'll have a tournament at Survivor Series for the vacant title. Baron Corbin came out there to present the titles, the Universal title to both men, and then wham! He knocked Strowman in the back of the head. Heyman screaming, take advantage, Lesnar. Lesnar did. F5, kick out. See, that was another thing. You noticed I mentioned before that the finishers were finishers. Throughout the whole show, every finisher was a win. But, of course, not once, not twice, not thrice, Strowman got up. Listen, it's a way to protect Braun Strowman, okay? You don't want to have Brock just come in there and wipe the shit off his shoes on Braun, and then Braun's out with worth a stack of beans, a hill of beans. So the double cross by Corbin, the 3 F5s that he kicked out of, it's just a way to protect Braun. Guess what? I guess when Heyman says it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler, you better listen to him. Brock is, again, the Universal title holder, and much to the dismay of many Brock haters out there. Oh, the comments. I know that's what the butthurt was about. I didn't even know the results, but as soon as I saw that the butthurts, I said, I said, Brock must have won. Listen, whether you like him or not, whether you like WWE or not, you got to give them credit. Their champions are the most deserving. Oh, what do you mean? Shut up! They're the most deserving. Brock is the most deserving Universal title holder. AJ is the most deserving WWE holder. You got Ronda. She's the most deserving Raw female champion. Becky, right? Everybody's been licking Becky's ass for the last few months. Oh, Becky. Anti-hero. Oh, well, guess what? She's miscast. Shut up! You're always trying to find excuses. She's popular, she's the champion, and she's not being booked as a chicken shit champion. So shut up! Stop complaining! I know it's fashionable and it's in vogue to always be complaining, but sometimes it's not, okay? I know it's fashionable to have rants about WWE. Oh, this sucks, that sucks. Not all the time, because then you start coming off like an idiot, an unhappy idiot who can't be pleased. I'll give the best rants, the best anti-WWE rants possible. I'll put my rants up with anybody, but I don't come in here on here every week, 2, twice, sometimes 3 times a week, screaming my head off about everything. He's come off boring then, okay? The only reason why they took the title off for Brock was for the Roman Reigns agenda. And a lot of people were happy about that. The same people who go on and say, they hate Roman Reigns, they hate the Golden Boy booking. My ass, you're all a bunch of fans of Roman Reigns. Stop lying. Oh, I don't like Roman, but I'd rather have him have the title. No, you do? How many times did he defend it? We're gonna start this shit again. Oh, the Universal title's hijacked now. No one ever gonna see it. How many times did Roman defend it from SummerSlam up until a couple weeks ago when he had to vacate it? Shut up! Most of you don't know what you're talking about. You read these stupid memes, these stupid fan pages, these stupid dirt sheets, and you take it as gospel. You're being worked, okay? The 434 podcasts and this and that and memes. Guess what? Those people are making money off those things. They pay Facebook to promote those memes and Facebook pages. And why? Because it's monetized. They're getting money off it. Every click they get, every view they get, they're getting money. Okay? You're being worked. They're selling you despair. They're selling you the sky is falling, and a lot of you believe it. I'm not saying not to believe it, but make up your own mind. Go do some research. You know how I know? Because some of those memes, some of those articles are from me. I put some of those. I create some of those, and people, you have to see again. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I could come here and give you the secrets of the universe as I handed down by God Himself. Just touching the book burns my hand. The secrets of God I could give you, reveal. Nobody would listen. But if a fucking dumb idiot, a kid, no, he's not a dumb idiot. Some kid who reads dirt sheets and regurgitates everything he reads on the dirt sheets, puts that on a meme or puts that on his Facebook page and promotes it. A lot of you will you become converted, and that becomes your religion. Now the main event. Listen. I said some nice complimentary things about Kurt Angle coming back. Listen, Triple H. I know he's your God. I know he's the Messiah who's going to save wrestling and make WWE so good. He's old. Shawn Michaels, he looks okay. He's at least I could say in 2018 I have more hair than Shawn Michaels. The Undertaker and Kane are old. The Old Taker. It's okay. Brock finally decided to show up to Raw. How many times has the Undertaker decided to show up to Raw? How many times has Shawn Michaels decided to show up on Raw? Now you can have your favorites, and you can have people you don't like, but not when you break kayfabe and you come on this page or any other page or whatever, or you listen to these idiots and make it the gospel. Oh, Brooke, he's not going to show up. Shut up! It's a lot better than watching Borman Reigns go through the roster on every pay-per-view. And again, like I said, how many times did he defend it since SummerSlam? Now, moving on, the aftermath. Apparently, it's being reported by WrestleZone and Michael McLean. Again, fan page. Take this with a grain of salt. And this is the first time I'm reading about it. I'm only covering it because it was sent to me. Triple H has suffered what is being reported as a torn pectoral muscle. Triple H suffered the injury while teaming with DX. Also, it should be noted, I posted last week that Triple H had changed creative plans and injected himself in the UK tour, where he was set to go up against the top heels from the company. He was scheduled to go up against The Miz and Dolph Ziggler, I believe. So according to WWE.com, Triple H returned to the United States this week where he plans to go surgical repair. And see, this is another thing. And now this injuries happen all the time. I won't put this I won't chalk this up to old age, but it comes with the territory. Torn pectoral muscle, he's out at least 7 months, maybe more. He maybe if he's lucky, he'll come back for WrestleMania, maybe. And do I want to see Triple H every year in fucking WrestleMania? How come you don't talk about that? Triple H returned to the United States, where he plans to undergo surgical repair. Triple H appeared to have suffered the injury of crown jewel. He looked to be in a significant amount of pain during the injury. It burns. It burns. Imagine somebody pouring liquid heat on the injury and lighting it on fire. That's what it feels like. Okay, I've had a torn muscle. It feels like somebody poured liquid fire on the injury. Triple H also appeared to be favoring the right side of his upper body over the other, whatever that means. He was able to hit a pedigree. Of course he was. It's Triple goddamn H. This is the guy who finished the match with the torn quad. However, when he and Shawn Michaels celebrated their victory, his right arm hung awkwardly at his side. Yeah, because he's torn muscle. When John Cena tore his pectoral muscle in late 2015, he was given recovery time of 9 months. However, he was back in the ring after 5 months. Well, of course, because that was a work. That was propaganda. Anytime John Cena was injured, they would always exaggerate in the beginning. In the beginning, they would always exaggerate the time he would be out, So that way, when he came back in half the time or earlier, they would say he's Super Cena. But of course, that would be a seed and excuse for when he wouldn't go over in the next coming match or the matches afterwards. They would say, "Oh," then he could go on TV and go, "Oh, I came back. My shoulder hasn't been has only been 50% for the last 2 years. My ass, my ass." Okay, fuck him and fuck Triple H. It's like again. I'm not saying anything bad about Joe and I. The real person who has his family, get well, come back soon, enjoy life, live to 90 years old. But fuck Cena, fuck Roman Reigns, and fuck Triple H. They're three of the biggest culprits that have brought down the show in the last 15 years. Okay? So fuck them. Very quickly, rounding up, a lot of people are butthurt about Ronda Rousey. She was voted number one. The PWI's win 500. Who else is better? She's legit. She's a former MMA UFC star. She doesn't belong in WWE. Why did WWE sign her now? It's going to take away from all the other more deserving stars. Yeah, she is an overhyped rookie. Shut the fuck up. You're all a bunch of nerds. I'll never forget that. Oh, what is WWE trying to do? Chase their fans away? They signed Ronda Rousey? What are you, stupid? Why? Because your girlfriend Ember Moon now won't get a shot at the title? That's what it is. These NXT nerds, these NXT cult nerds, nerdists. That's what it is. It's like I said the other day. It's run mirrors society and political society. The far left fans, the 5% hardcore fans who are on the left, these are the NXT cult nerds. She's number one. Get over it. Oh, Asuka's buried. She was voted number 5. And why is Io Shirai number 4? Who the fuck is she? Is she that imitation Asuka with the fucking parrot? It was Ronda Rousey, Alexa Bliss number 2, and again, deservedly so. Charlotte Flair number 3, Io Shirai 4, Asuka 5, Shayna Baszler was number 6, Carmella number 7, Nia Jax was number 8, Mayu Iwatani, who the fuck is she? Who cares? And Kairi Sane and end up. Again, these nerds, these NXT nerds, who just 2 years ago were calling women's matches piss breaks, now all of a sudden, because NXT highlighted women's matches, actually gave them 20 minutes to wrestle, made them practice main event style, so now all of a sudden, men get butthurt over this. And since it's This Week in Wrestling from around the wrestling world, WrestleZone, Tyler Treese reports from Ring of Honor, Hangman Page turned down a new offer, Cody no longer on the contract. And again, these are just fan reports. They always cite the same 2 sources, Dave Meltzer or the Wrestling Observer. Everything comes from those 2 sources. So so I only give the authors credit because I'm using their article. So according to the Observer, the roster of Ring of Honor is seeing a shakeup. Hangman Page might have declined to deal with WWE, but yet it doesn't look like he's going to sign with Ring of Honor. So what does that mean? Let's just say his future's up in the air. And yes, okay, good. The next line. Cody Rhodes is no longer on the contract for the company. He has alluded to finishing up his dates with the company, but now it's known that he's a free agent. Rhodes will be working with Ring of Honor. He's not a free agent. He's signed with New Japan. As for the rest of the Elite, both of the Young Bucks haven't signed any deals. They are currently on the contract until the end of the year. This is the same shit every year now. January 1st, all these the New Japan guys who have contracts with several companies, their contracts run out, and you get the speculation if they're going to sign with WWE. There's speculation and there's excitement, but then in the same hand, the nerds don't want them to actually come to WWE because they'll get ruined. All right, that's enough. I'm going to splice the first half of the video with this, and I'll post it on the page. Thank you for watching. Have a great night and a safe weekend.